The countdown until CCC continues. Hello everyone, Soberoni of G&A Reviews here, and today's spotlight will be taking a look at our Kohai. Not the one Caldia needs, but the one it deserves, BB. We'll be examining her stats and skills, as well as going over pointers on how to utilize her effectively, and an overall grade comparing her to how she stacks up to the other 4-star servants. Now, onto BB's stats. BB has a max HP of 13,643 and a max attack of 8,197. There are no other Moon Cancer 4-stars to compare her to, but her HP stat is incredibly high for a 4-star, ranking even higher than many 5-star servants, while her attack stat is very low, ranking among the lowest 4-star servants. Overall, her stat spread is heavily geared toward being a tank or a support. Taking a look at her skills, her first skill is 10 Crowns rank D. It removes all debuffs from an ally and also restores their HP between 1000 and 3000 depending on level, and also applies nullified debuff for one time lasting 3 turns. Her second skill is Aurea Bora rank C. It removes invincibility from an enemy and has between a 50 and 100% chance of inflicting stun depending on level. And finally, her last skill is Self-Modification rank EX. It increases her crit strength between 20 and 50% for 3 turns, and also increases her crit star gather rate between 400 and 800% for 3 turns, both depending on level. For passives, she has Magic Resistance rank B, which increases her debuff resist by 17.5%, Item Construction rank A, which increases her debuff success rate by 10%, and Territory Creation rank A, which increases her arts card effectiveness by 10%. Moving on to her deck and Noble Phantasm, BB has an Arts Quick deck with Quick Arts Buster and an Arts Noble Phantasm. BB's Noble Phantasm is Cursed Cupid Cleanser. It deals significant damage to a single enemy with between a 900% and 1500% damage modifier. It also decreases their debuff resist for 3 turns between 10 and 50% depending on overcharge, and it increases the NP gauge of all allies by 20%. Taking a closer look at her cards, we see that her Quick card hits 4 times, her Arts hits 3 times, her Buster hits 1 time, and her Extra Attack hits 4 times. She has an NP gain rate of 0.61% and a star rate of 14.7%. This translates into strong NP gain due to the double Arts cards, her Noble Phantasm, her high hit counts, and her passives. And likewise, she does have good star generating due to the high hit counts on her Quick. Not just one new class, but 2. BB is the first Moon Cancer servant to join our ranks. Moon Cancer is a highly exclusive extra class that has class advantage over Avengers while being weak to rulers. So it is a niche class, but one that serves an essential function. Thankfully, BB is also the event welfare servant, and a strong one at that. BB is an arts-focused servant that has stellar NP spamming potential and self-sufficient star generating, much like a certain other welfare servant. But unlike Kuro, BB has stats more geared towards defense with her high HP pool and heavily support-oriented skill set. BB's first skill, 10 Crowns, is a targetable heal that also removes debuffs and applies debuff immunity to an ally. Not only is the heal on this skill good, but the debuff removal and debuff immunity effect are particularly powerful effects both for boss fights and for enabling servants that may have drawbacks or demerits on their skills. And to top it off, the skill has a ridiculously short 4-turn cooldown at max rank, making BB a deceptively strong healer. BB also packs another strong support skill in Aurea Bora, allowing her a high chance to stun an enemy and remove their invincibility or evade. This is a strong skill for stall teams, which there is no shortage of in arts. And finally, BB has one offensive skill in Self-Modification, and it's one hell of a skill to have. It's the same version as Jolter's Self-Modification, which is to say it's absolutely busted and one of the best crit skills in the game next to Emiya's Hawkeye. The buff to star weight is going to ensure that you capture most crit stars, even on a team with riders or archers. And the crit buff itself is significant enough to overcome BB's lack of class advantage. The cooldown is very low, so you can have this skill active for most of the battle as well. All of BB's skills are strong, but I do recommend prioritizing Self-Modification first to make BB more offensively viable, followed by 10 Crowns for the crazy cooldown reduction, and then Aurea Bora last. If you would rather use BB purely as a support or staller, then I suggest 10 Crowns first, followed by Aurea Bora, and then Self-Modification last. BB's Noble Phantasm is a single target arts nuke that decreases enemy debuff resist and charges all allies NP gauge by 20%. The damage on this Noble Phantasm isn't incredible given BB's lack of arts and attack buffs, but what is incredible is its utility. The debuff resist debuff is powerful in stall teams because it allows ally Noble Phantasms and skills to land a lot more easily. For example, Waver's Stun or Shuten's Charm. And because this Noble Phantasm is so easily spammable, this can act as a semi-permanent debuff on an enemy. Also, BB's Noble Phantasm charges all allies NP gauges by a flat 20%, extremely powerful in an arts team. BB can be a strong Noble Phantasm charge engine that enables your team to NP spam, much in the same way as Tamamo. BB's major strength is her extreme proficiency in arts teams. She can play both the strong offensive role and a strong support role. On the offensive side of things, she has an incredibly strong, low cooldown crit buff that makes her ideal as the centerpiece for any arts crit team, and a spammable single target Noble Phantasm that can deal consistently strong damage if she has arts buffs. On the support side, she offers a very strong heal, some of the best debuff removal in the game, a high percentage stun, semi-permanent debuff resist down on an enemy, and an NP battery for the whole team. BB can wear many hats, and switch them on the fly to fit whatever needs you may have, and as such, she is the perfect fit on any arts team and can single-handedly make a bad team into a competitive one. She is also your best answer to the Avenger enemies you encounter. That said though, much like the Avenger class, she rarely ever gets a chance to utilize her class advantage, meaning outside of her crit buff, she isn't going to be dealing much damage unless you specifically build around her. And while on that topic, while she is flexible enough to fit into any arts team and carry, she doesn't particularly work well anywhere else, like alongside Buster Servants, because she heavily relies on being able to spam her Noble Phantasm. And finally, lack of hard defense undermines her tankiness. An evade or even a guts would make her a lot more reliable. BB's best asset is her team synergy, and in that regard, she is very similar to Hans or Waver in that it's hard to find an arts team that she doesn't excel in. Specifically though, you're going to want to use her in either an arts crit team as your main damage dealer, or in a more balanced traditional arts team as your main support. For crit teams, I heavily recommend pairing her with Caster Gil, Shuten, or Paracelsus. Caster Gil is a tremendous crit star support thanks to his first skill, and his other two skills provide BB with the buffs that she desperately needs to deal good damage. Shuten can similarly provide good star generating and buffing, and BB's Noble Phantasm will help Shuten land her charms more consistently. Paracelsus is your best free-to-play option because he offers good arts buffs and a targetable guts to help BB's survivability. Just make sure you give him a star generating craft essence. In more traditional arts teams, BB can play a strong support role to a more powerful offensive arts servant like Kuro, Saber Lancelot, or Vlad. Kuro lacks debuff removal, which is essential in some battles, and BB can provide that on a short cooldown. Likewise, she also does a great job of providing Saber Lancelot with crit stars and healing. And if you don't have Nero Bride or Tamamo, then BB also works well at keeping Vlad alive with her short cooldown heal, and she can work with him in stall teams thanks to her stun. BB's Bondcraft Essence is Roadside Dream. It increases the party's arts, buster, and quick card effectiveness by 8%. Not particularly a good craft essence, you're better off prioritizing either your NP or your crit damage. If you're going offensive BB, then arts buffing craft essences are your best bet since they not only increase your damage but your NP gain as well. Formal Craft, Faithful Companions, and Collide Sapphire are all strong choices if you're relying on spamming your Noble Phantasm for damage or support. If you're using BB in a crit team, then the best craft essence you can have is Another Ending. Aside from that, Gem Magecraft and Lunar Hot Springs are suitable substitutes. And 2030 is great if you're supporting another strong offensive art servant like Saberlot or Kuro. And for some future proofing, I do recommend Emerald Float because it can be a much more offensive version of Formalcraft. Overall, Bibi is not only among the best welfare servants ever, but among the best 4-star servants overall. Even putting aside her unique class, she packs an overwhelming amount of utility for any arts team. She can provide top tier healing, very rare debuff removal and debuff immunity, debuff resist down, a strong stun, and NP charge for the whole party, and she even holds up offensively as a strong crit servant with a good single target Noble Phantasm. She does have some downsides though, most notably her lack of hard defense and subpar damage unless she's critting, but those are easily compensated for, especially in arts teams. So she gets an A+ from me. She is one of the most versatile servants in the game and key to many arts teams. On top of that, she is a top tier support and a capable offensive servant in her own right. And those are my thoughts on Bibi. A case can be made for her being the best welfare servant depending on what you're looking for, but let me know what you think and if you're excited for our sadistic Kohai in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and consider subscribing if you really enjoyed the video. Join the party over at our Discord, chill with us on Twitch, and follow us on Twitter. And I'll see you all in the next Servant Spotlight. Soberoni out. Later.